all of you here. And I told these young folks that this was going to be casual, that they're not going to worry about y'all sitting out there. We're just going to have a conversation about this. So, Gabe, I'll start with you. Tell me, what's about the most epic adventure you've ever had as a scout that you can tell us about?
So I have about 3 crazy experiences that happened. So this might be the only question I answer.
Depends on your answer, I suppose.
My first big adventure, I went to Camp Caragua with a friend of mine, and we super trooped. So no one else in my troop got to experience this except for me and my friend. So the story is, we go in and we have a really fun time. We go and sleep in our tent. Huge storm. And for everyone else, it was just like, what's the big deal? There's a storm. For me, it was a big deal because I didn't zip up my tent fully. There was that much room. Through that entire night, my tent probably filled up with like 3 inches of water. And I made the joke afterwards, where's my canoeing merit badge?
Great, thanks, Gabe. Wesley, I appreciate your being here today. What do you think the one thing you've done in scouting that surprised you that you never thought you'd be able to do?
Wow, there's a lot of those. Merit badges, experiences, everything. One I would say is my multi-sport merit badge. It's because it was kind of like a relay. So what we did was, the multi-sport merit badge, you had to run, swim, and then bike. I think it was like run, bike, and then swim. So you had options, and I did the run and swim, which, if you don't know, that's kind of painful. Still running. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was like one of the things.
Thank you, Wesley. Sally, what would you say is a piece of advice you would give to somebody that has not been involved in scouting, to maybe going on their first outing or first camp out? What would you tell people about that?
Yeah, so to go off of what Gabe said earlier, if you are going on your first camp out, always make sure you zip that tent completely closed. I've woken up on my first camp out with a tarantula on my sleeping bag. So that was not a fun experience. I can say that my troop did not enjoy hearing me screaming my head off at 6 in the morning. But yeah, keep that tent fully closed and do not leave your shoes out there because they'll either get soaked in the night with the dew or you'll find a creepy crawly in it in the morning.
Thank you, Sally. Eloise, can you tell everybody about what some of your favorite camp out meals are when you've been camping?
Okay, so my favorite camp out meal would be probably s'mores or Frito pie.
Frito pie, okay. What other things do you remember having when you've been on camp outs?
I don't know.
Sometimes they're sort of forgettable meals, aren't they? Yeah, I understand that. Sally, how about you? Any go-to meals on campouts?
My go-to meal is probably the silver turtles. They're one of my favorite things to make. You can put absolutely anything in there. My go-to is a little bit of hash browns, some hamburger, and usually some veggies. They're super easy to make. You just pop them on the fire, leave them there for a couple, 30 minutes, and then pretty soon you have your meal. And you can make dessert forms too. So.
Great, thank you. There's everybody here that's been involved in scouting probably has some stories similar to those. For those of you that have been out there, I would ask you to think back on some of the things, your adventures, epic things that you've done in scouting, things that made a difference in your life. Wesley, can you think of any hacks that you've learned in scouting that helped make you either better in the outdoors or better in the indoors?
There's a one that I kind of like learned pretty near. I just learned this one. So you have your like frozen water bottles, milk jugs, anything you're gonna put in the cooler to keep the ice cold. So all the stuff keeps cold.
Good idea. And then you've got water when it thaws. that you can drink if you kept it clean while it's in there. Good
Yeah.
idea. Gabe, how about you? What kind of hacks do you think you've learned in scouting so far?
So my family, we don't really go camping. Scouts was actually my first time camping, and that was the big thing I was excited for. But something I have learned that I use in Scouts is recently I figured out that I have my tote. I put all my clothes, bathing suits, shampoo, everything that you need. And then there's no space for your tent or your sleeping bag.
Oops.
But we have to bring a backpack. So I thought to myself, what if I put my tent, my sleeping bag, my stakes all in the backpack, and then I have to set up my tent to free up my backpack. So setting up my tent becomes #1 priority if I want to, so to say, unlock my backpack.
Good plan. Wesley, if you had anything to tell these folks about what's your favorite part of scouting, what would it be?
Yeesh. That's a hard one. Really hard one. Scouting is my favorite thing, kind of, sometimes.
Okay.
Okay, joking with the plain answer, my favorite thing about scouting was meeting new people all around. For example, the camporee that we had where Mexico came in and with Camp Kawankwa. Yeah, I got to meet some new people all around the world. Yeah, it's really fun.
Ellie, how about you? What would you say to somebody that's your favorite part of scouting, your favorite aspect of scouting?
My favorite aspect kind of goes along with his. It would probably be all the friends that you meet. Almost all of my closest friends that I have now are ones I've met through scouting, especially as someone who works out at Camp K every summer and winter camp. I've met so many new people, and I know that everyone that I'm meeting and becoming friends with, I'm gonna have them for the rest of my life, and that's my favorite part.
Great, thank you. Eloise, what would you tell your friends about why they should join scouting with you?
I think they should join because it's really fun and I don't know.
It's really fun, and that's the best reason of all, isn't it? Folks, would you help me give a big round of applause for these guys?